I was in a cab in London the other day, and my cab driver was the sweetest man I've ever met. He was telling me about some hiking places and his wife, and he shared with me a poem, I guess, about life, and it really resonated with how I feel about life. I think that like most people, and myself included, I used to do that. Life is like a to-do list, right? Like you gotta go to high school, go to college, and then you get a job, you find a partner, you buy a house, you have kids, and you're like on this conveyor belt hitting these KPIs by a certain age, right? But a lot of us, we get so focused on doing the things that we're not enjoying the journey, right? And that was exactly what he was talking about. He was asking me some things about myself, and I was saying how I was traveling alone. And he was like, oh, I could never do that. He's like, I just don't like being alone. He's like, I feel really good when I'm with my friends or my wife, but yeah, I don't like to be alone. And I was like, of course you could do this. Like, of course you could. I was like, but I know what you mean. I was like, when I first started traveling alone several years ago, I think I've told the story before, like I started crying. Like I was just like crying the first few days and I didn't know why. And it was because like I wasn't processing anything that was happening to me. One thing that I would encourage anybody to do is spend more time alone and just ask yourself, like, how am I feeling? And if you're feeling sadness or anxiety, figure out why that is. Because here's the thing, if you enjoy hanging out with your friends or your partner or other people, if you can enjoy hanging out with just you, everything in life gets exponentially better. I cannot recommend this enough. Don't be scared to discover what you're feeling and why. You might discover that maybe certain things aren't working for you and you have to figure out how to make adjustments in your life. Many people, what they find is they are operating from outdated beliefs. You have these old stories that like are no longer helping them. So like maybe earlier in your life, you were in some kind of like stressful or unsafe situations and you're still playing the same soundtrack of like, oh, I don't want to get fired, but you're in a really stable environment right now. So like you can delete that soundtrack. You don't need it anymore. And I think the more time that you can spend just kind of cleaning out all these outdated beliefs and stories about your life, and think of it as like organizing your mind, because think about like what we're composed of, right? Like we have our physical body, which is our foundation, and why it's so important to eat the right things and take care of ourselves because it's connected to our mind. And then we also have our emotional body, right? So like once you figure out those three things and get them organized and understand that emotions are just signals and it can be used as inspiration to process old things. And with our mind, we can choose the thoughts that we're thinking. And when we're feeling good in our physical bodies and all these things are aligned, life gets so much more simpler and so much more amazing. If we're only gonna be here once, let's do it the right way.